Good evening. I'm Lenka DeVor and welcome to Nottingham News. Today's main headlines. Fears grow for the social integrity of East Mercia as the poison pen once again rears its ugly head. An unexpected turning of the tables for one hardened criminal as we check in on the pits. And we check back in with lost chops as they continue to lead the way with their charity work. But first, although Henry Crowther is now more famous as a surprisingly effective pit fighter, his infamous pamphlet, The Poison Pen, has resurfaced to undermine the integrity of the state and glorify the actions of terrorists. Taken off the streets 6 months ago following a banning campaign by concerned citizens and a skillful infiltration operation by the Eye, it seems it's back, with copies seized by the guards at the wall only yesterday. And it looks like new management has moved in. Snainton resident Elena Lawrence, who helped organise the original banning campaign, has spoken of her outrage in a statement released to Nottingham News. Ms Lawrence elected not to describe the contents of the resurrected rag, alluding only to coarse and vulgar language of the highest order. But she took the opportunity to urge the council to bring forward the People's Security Bill so that filth like this can be removed from our streets once and for all. Here at Nottingham News, we agree with you, Eleanor. And speaking of his publication, we may be seeing a bit more of Henry Crowther as his rounds are coming up in the pits this week. But he's not the top story. It was the final fight yesterday for convicted mass murderer Neville Razorhand Bland, whose chilling attacks sliced through the heart of East Mercia, leaving death and terror in their wake. He was facing down the formidable opposition of Estelle Yarrow, the guard-garrotting granny from Greenwood. With freedom just one fight away, Neville gave his all, but he seemed not to be on top form, only managing a swing here and there, but not getting a scratch on Estelle before she dispatched him with a snap of the neck. I think we were all surprised by that outcome. I, for one, was expecting to interview him about his plans for his newfound freedom on this show next week. Instead, I lost 50 okies. Teach me to bet on the favourite. But it is strange how the tables have turned on Neville after his ruthlessness in previous rounds. Perhaps he had a bad clam. It's not exactly haute cuisine in the pits. We'll be going back there next week to see if Estelle can get herself another lucky break. All I can say is Henry Crowther had better watch his neck. Music news now. And after they raised a humongous 120,000 okies for our food banks from sales of their single, I'm Getting a Funny Feeling From You, lost chops haven't stopped. The peppy popsters have been popping up all over the queendom, using their moment of fame to bring a smile to scores of East Mercian faces. They've been sowing the seeds of sustainability in the next generation with their Rock Your Renewables Day at Bartonbury Academy. Lead guitarist Emile Valdez-Shaw was quoted as saying, "It's not enough just to play music to people when the land we stand on is under threat right now. We have a responsibility to show the kids the way to go." I couldn't agree more, Emile. And we're getting reports that their manager, Freya Dean, has just revealed plans for a funky food bank weekend this summer, where the boys will share the stage with some of their favourite label mates in the hope of keeping those vital suppliers afloat. And if your ears are still ringing like mine are from their show-stopping stat at Loud Letha, you'll be wondering just how they're going to top that. Perhaps the answer is to buy a ticket. Advanced sales are already skyrocketing. Weather watch now. And unfortunately, last week's optimism regarding the fire in the Duchy of Malston appears to have been misguided after some cunningly hidden embers reignited the flames. Now the blaze is edging dangerously close to the Duchy's burial forest. Lady Aldridge has issued a plea to Malstonians to stay calm and not to try and retrieve objects from their family trees whilst the fire crews do their work. Needless to say, the weather warning remains red for the Queendom as a whole, and citizens of other duchies are advised to be vigilant and watch out for spot fires. In other news, A family man from the inner circle is clinging to life after being abducted by rebel forces. Julian Wilmer was passing through High June Square on business when his captors seized him and took him to an undisclosed location, where they inexpertly removed his chip and held him to ransom. Mr. Wilmer was rescued earlier this week by guards acting on scant information from concerned Outer Circle citizens, and he is now receiving treatment for septic shock at King Richard Hospital. May Hecate lead you back to health, Julian. Members of the Faculty of Biosciences at the University of Clifton have voiced their opposition to the impending demolition of the university's Queen Rosamond Theatre, citing the range of plant life growing on the building's facade. They claim that a long-term study of these plants could be essential to understanding new strategies in hybrid construction. But that's not the only building whose fate hangs in the balance this week. Radford Mews, once the home of the Kimbolton family, who tragically lost their lives in the Great Famine, has found itself the subject of a standoff as guards work to evict a band of unchipped squatters from the property. The squatters claim that any empty living space should be theirs by right, but they forget that citizenship comes at a price, and that price is a chip. No chip, no citizenship. Those are the rules. And finally tonight, pandemonium as a pesky postal pigeon pecked a plasterer's pecan pie. There's been a plague of the pilfering perpetrators this week, panicking picnickers all over the queendom. So, when you're out and about, keep your eyes on the skies and be wise with your pies. And that's all we have time for on this edition of Nottingham News. For more stories, head to our website, which is on screen now and in the link below. Until next time, goodbye, and may Hecate bless you.